Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's the Eradicator, and we've got some exciting news if you're a fan of the Age of Empires series, because, well, it seems that the studios here that develops Age of Empires 4 has released some very interesting details about the upcoming civilizations of the game that will be released on October 28th. And we got the 8 civilizations that will be in the base game. We've got the Chinese, the Delhi Sultanate, which will represent the people of India, the English, the Mongols, the French, the Abbasid Dynasty, which I successfully predicted will be in the game after the release of the last trailer. The Holy Roman Empire, which I said since the beginning that will also be there, so I'm glad I was right. They will represent the German civilization, of course, and the Ruth, a very interesting way to say it here. I believe, I made some research, these were Norsemen that eventually settled in modern-day Russia and Ukraine. What I believe is that they will start the game as the Viking, and then they will transition into being those people from Eastern Europe, which is eventually where some of the Vikings did settle indeed and create some brand new civilizations, because, well, the Vikings kind of vanished as being the Vikings throughout the end of the Middle Ages, right? They became the Danish, the Swedes, and basically their own civilization. But it's going to be quite interesting to have them used here as Eastern Europeans, especially the Russians and the Ukrainians, because, well, they did have some struggles against, well, not necessarily always the Holy Roman Empire on their western side, but on the eastern side they also had issues with the Mongols too, and it will be fantastic to be playing that. Alright, now we also have some details about those civilizations. We'll start with the Chinese here. The Chinese civilization is one of impressive constructions, gunpowder strength, and a dynasty system that provides unique benefits and varied strategies to overcome the opponent. The Chinese civilization in Age of Empires 4 is a thriving, unique civilization that grows through their dynasty system over the years 907 to 1644 CE, which is the fall of the Ming Dynasty, by the way. They are powerful defenders behind formidable fortifications. The engineering prowess of the Chinese dominated the world for centuries, a trait present in Age of Empires 4. You live through history as Chinese culture, strength, and innovations created ripples across Eurasia, growing your empire as you move throughout vibrant Tang, Song, Yuan, and Ming dynasties. Your units speak Mandarin Chinese, a Sinitic language originated in North China, which is a language that I speak myself living in Taiwan, so it would be very interesting to understand those Chinese units. They're probably going to have the Beijing accent, not the Taiwanese accent. Anyway, how is it going to be playing the Chinese here? They say that at the dawn of their civilization, the Chinese have a head start with additional villagers, just like in every other Age of Empires game, by the way. This lays the foundation for a robust economy, fueling the needs of a great, expansive civilization. Now look at this picture here. That's very interesting because in every picture we've seen of the Chinese civilization, the cities always looked very neat, and here they do say that city planning is an important growth strategy. A special trait of the Chinese civilization is their dynasty system, which offers several advantages when triggered, like unique bonuses and access to unique buildings. This gives several routes in strategy and ways to leverage all that the Chinese civilization has to offer. The military prowess of the Chinese lies in their mighty gunpowder units. They have access to multiple unique gunpowder units, making them a fierce civilization to go up against in battle. That is not a surprise, guys, because the Chinese were the ones who invented gunpowder, so of course they are going to be using that, and they are going to be a formidable strength. Let's have a look at some of their unique units here, and the first one is very intriguing. It's the Imperial Official here, an official produced from the town center that collects gold from nearby buildings. This could be the very reason why city planning might be very important, because you maybe want to have all of your most gold producing buildings as close as possible from the town center so that your imperial officer can get as much gold as possible. Now this one, the next one here, very intriguing. The Fire Lancer here, which is a cavalry unit from the Yuan dynasty, equipped with a fire lance. So does it mean that there's fire at the bottom of the lance, or can it throw it? I have no idea about what it is, but it definitely looks very cool. And this one here some gunpowder units here. The Nest of Bees, which is a powerful siege weapon that fires an immense burst of rocket arrows in an area. Not surprised, we've seen that in many movies, in historical war movies that involves China. It's a classic of the Chinese military here. Wonderful. Now, the Chinese throughout the ages here, that is probably the town center here. So in age 1, the Chinese civilizations, the imperial officials get to work right away. So I suppose that you start the game with one of those, I guess, right? With contributing to a healthy gold economy. As the civilization starts laying down the brickwork needed to move into dynasties, ensuring tax collection to working to its full advantage is key. So you're gonna have to make sure that your town center is in the center of your town and that you have as many buildings as possible, collecting as much gold as possible, because you are going to rely heavily on gold. Age 2 here. Age 2's Imperial Academy, one of Age 1 landmarks, provides focus on the Chinese civilization growing layout. This landmark influences nearby buildings, having them generate additional tax revenue. Alright, so it seems like that's why it's really important to have a well laid out city. Again, it really confirms, right, because you're going to have special buildings dedicated to collecting that juicy tax income. In Age 3, it's going to become the Imperial Palace. This is one of the landmarks bringing you into Age 3, allowing the Chinese civilization to spy on an opponent to see what they are up to. Its considerable vision gives the Chinese a keen advantage, seeing over mountains and stealth forest, an ability to spot enemy villagers. That's wonderful because, well, stealth is going to be one of the elements of Age of Empires 4. Units will be able to hide in the forest, for example, but with this building you'll be able to tell in advance, and it is going to be definitely something that opponents will have to keep in mind if they want to be using stealth tactics, because it's not going to work against the Chinese. And Age 4 here, the Great Wall is the Chinese civilization's great treasure, a powerful defensive structure. The landmark is one of the options bringing you into the final age. Build upon stone walls to bolster wall health and nearby units damage. We do know that, for example, in Age of Empires 4, it will be possible to position units on top of these walls. It seems that the Chinese are going to have these extra strong walls here, even stronger than the other civilizations, based, of course, on the real Great Wall that did supposedly protect the Chinese Empire back in the days, and you will be able to recreate that for your own city as well. Now, let's have a look at the other civilizations here. We're going to move on to the Delhi Sultanate here, which is going to be representing the Indians. I do love that each civilization has its own unique architecture and feel and units as well. This is looking really nice. The Delhi Sultanate civilization is at the forefront of technological innovation. They have a strong focus on research and defense, with an edge in technological advancement over other civilizations. In Age of Empires 4, the Delhi Sultanate civilization is based on a powerful empire formed from the invasion of the Ghurrid dynasty, which originated in Persia into northern India, spanning from the years 879 until 1526. For 300 years, this empire shaped an independent Indo-Islamic region, adopting technology present in India. Advancing through the ages, has you experienced this civilization's rich history, with the first age reflecting the Turkish and Iranian Ghurrid Sultanate, playing the Farsi, Persian-speaking Delhi Sultanate civilizations, bring you through the Mamluk and Khaliji dynasty. Also the Mamluk, actually, very interesting. Very interesting. Then after that, you are going to play through the Tughlaq dynasty as well as the Said and Lodi dynasty, getting a taste for the Delhi Sultanate's vibrant culture and defiant strength. So it's not just the Indians, it's a mix of the Indians and the Persians at the same time. Smart. So you get one with one stone, you get two hits at the same time. Smart move here. What was the name of the studio? I always forget. They're the guys who made Company of Heroes, right? Smart move anyway here from the devs. Playing the Delhi Sultanate here, strategic decisions in early ages of the match are essential for the Delhi Sultanate civilization, who emerges as a dominating force in the late game. The Delhi Sultanate army can be a terrifying designed to encounter. The core of their army, the War Elephant, is a melee unit of staggering raw strength capable of high damage. We've seen that in the trailers. Elephants in Age of Empires always inspire fear among enemies for sure. The Delhi Sultanate specialty lies in research. Not only do they have access to several upgrade options throughout the ages, but their unique scholar research system, which with the valuable scholar essential to the system, provides an advantage in research that no other civilization has. The Delhi Sultanate researches technology at no cost in research. Oh my goodness, that is indeed going to be a significant advantage, but at a greater time investment. So it's going to take longer, but it will be free. To offset this, the Delhi Sultanate uses scholars, each of which speeds up research. So I suppose that if you have more scholars, then you are going to have faster research, I suppose. While biding their time growing their strength throughout the ages, the Delhi Sultanate can tap into their defense through foot units' abilities to construct defensive structures. Oh, so not just the villagers, but the regular soldiers, like the men-at-arms or the arbalisters, are also going to be able to build defensive structures. That is quite an advantage indeed. Once their military reaches full heights, the Delhi Sultanate's power is a force to be reckoned with. And here are some units here. The scholar kind of looks like a monk, right? The scholar is the civilization's equivalent of the monk. There we go. With a unique ability to speed up research and technology upgrades. I like that all of the monks have this kind of rod, right? Even the Indian one. It's classic, it's Age of Empires, right? I hope he says, whoa. Then, the War Elephant. Of course, the mighty War Elephant is a powerful melee unit with high health and damage against unit and structure. I believe that just like in other Age of Empires games, it is going to be quite vulnerable to spears. And the Tower War Elephant, more elephants, right? The Tower War Elephant is a devastating unit with ranged attacks. So not only you're going to have melee attacks, you're going to also have the ranged elephants, right? 2 archers mounted on a tower on a War Elephant. That is going to be very dangerous indeed. Now let's have a look at the Delhi Sultanate throughout the ages. Age 1. In Age 1, the Delhi Sultanate has access to the mosque. So okay, so they do this. It is indeed going to be an Islamic civilization, right? Which produces scholars central to the Delhi Sultanate civilization for speeding up their research and making them a booming center for technological evolution. In Age 2, the Delhi Sultanate's research capability improved drastically with the Dome of Faith, one of the landmarks bringing you into Age 2. With this landmark's ability to produce scholars at a reduced cost, the Delhi Sultanate can pursue more means of upgrades available into expanding their civilization. Here, meaning that it seems that this is kind of like not really a religious building, but sort of, right? So it's like the equivalent of the temple in Age of Empires 2 is going to be extremely important for the Delhi Sultanate in order to be advancing and doing all those research, which supposedly are free, but not exactly free because you still need to produce those scholars, right? So it's a different way of researching. H3. In H3, one of the landmarks, the House of Learning, offering several unique economic and religious upgrades. This is a great option to pursue with a civilization growing network of scholars speeding up research. So it's really, again, those scholars at the center of the civilization. And once more here, going into the last age with the Palace of the Sultan, one of the H3 landmarks. The Delhi Sultanate's army comes into its own in H4. The Palace of the Sultan contributes to the ever-growing military, periodically producing a War Elephant, a production that can be stood up by garrison scholars. So again, the scholars are going to be very important, and you're going to get some free War Elephant with that building. The more scholars you put inside, the faster they pop. That is definitely going to be one of the main targets of the enemies of the Delhi Sultanate for sure. Let's have a look now at the English. And completely different now, we're going to Europe, one of the 4 civilizations that are going to represent Europe here. We have 4 Asian civilizations, 4 European civilizations. We're having the English here. The English are a defensive powerhouse. In Age of Empires 4, their strength is unparalleled, reinforced by the power of their archery units, a firm control over castles and defensive buildings, and a highly dependable food economy that sustains them throughout the ages. Age of Empires 4 introduces the English civilizations during the Anglo-Saxon era in Great Britain, spanning from 850 to 1555. As you progress from the Middle Ages to the late Renaissance in the 16th century, you bear witness to the story of a civilization that survived the falls of empires, conquerors, and plagues. In Age of Empires 4, as you build up the English civilizations across 4 eras, the Anglo-Saxons, Anglo-Normans, English, Gothic, and Tudor eras, each age has its distinct style, from architecture to armor, with populations speaking Old English in the Dark Age to evolving early modern English in the Imperial Age. That is also going to be fantastic to be hearing the Old English, which is very different to the English that we know today, right? The Anglo-Saxon era is the one that happened when they basically kicked the original Celtic Brittonic people out of England, which then moved to my home country of Brittany, and eventually themselves were ruled by the Anglo-Normans. The Normans were a hybrid of French and Vikings that settled in Normandy, right, modern-day Normandy. And they invaded England. This will be part of the William the Conqueror campaign in Age of Empires 4. Then English Gothic will be the civilization that will be more throughout the Angevin Empire, which was like an empire that spanned between northern France and England. Whereas the Tudor area is, of course, the area from which is known to be existing during the time of Queen Elizabeth, obviously, right? Each age, as we said, yes. So let's continue here and playing the English. How is it going to be, right? Well, playing as the English in Age 4 opens the door to several key advantages, creating an exciting battlefield for resource and victory. The English have access to cheaper farms. Oh, okay, so that's why they were saying that the food is going to be critical here for for the English in Age of Empires 4, because they have farm advantages, giving them a highly dependable source of food to greatly expand upgrades and armies throughout matches. The English specialize in their network of castles, of course, town centers, outposts, towers, and keep trigger an alarm when an enemy approaches. Okay, great. So they will be telling us. But I thought that in the Age of Empires games, there's always an alarm when an enemy arrives, right? Prompting nearby units and defensive structures to fire faster for a short period. Their keep can produce all units. So, oh wow! So not just the production facilities, but also the keeps, allowing the English defense to reign supreme in a match. The longbowman, the signature longbowman, any Age of Empires 2 player knows what the longbowman is, right? Is a special English unit and a civ-specific improvements for the archer in other civilizations. The longbowman has longer range, of course, just like in Age 2, thus an advantage in ranged combat with access to significant upgrades. Now, let's have a look at some of their unique buildings here, unique units, sorry. The villager, interesting here. What did they say about the villager? The English villager is the humble unit of the civilization and the key to retaining a powerful economy. They have light fighting abilities with a ranged bow attack. Of course, because every English people in England back in those days, every English people were supposed to be training in archery, so that does make sense. It is historically accurate. The longbowman here, interesting, they have some differences in front of them, right? The longbowman is an unrivaled archer unit, making it a powerful foe on the battlefield with a long range and powerful upgrades. So probably those spikes there in front of them. And the man-at-arms. I thought the man-at-arms was for everybody, but apparently not, right? The English man-at-arms is a sturdy infantry unit available earlier than other civilizations and has extra armor upgrades. Oh, they're coming earlier, meaning that maybe we are going to have some interesting rush scenarios here for those who play as the English with the men-at-arms. Age 1 here. In Age 1, the English civilization focused on building up resources through agricultural expansion, with cheaper farms available for the English age. Age 1 is an opportune area to set up flourishing economy that will last through the ages, so it seems like you'll be able to rush, but you may also decide to bloom your economy. Age 2, the powerful and versatile longbowman becomes available in Age 2. Oh, not in Age 3 now, Age 2. The Council Hall, one of the landmark building bringing you into Age 2, produces longbowmen faster than an archery range, making the beginning of a powerful, expensive army. Indeed, it does. Look, people, it's guys, they say that the English are a defensive civilization. For me, this looks like a civilization that would be great at rushing. I don't know what you guys say, but to me, that I can totally imagine people are going to be rushing with those units, the men-at-arms and the longbowmen for sure. Age 3, the White Tower is one of the landmarks available in Age 2 that act as a keep. It reinforces the English as defensive powerhouse in Age 3. Keeps have an available upgrade to produce infantry, cavalry, and siege units, leading the English army to become an indestructible force. I definitely want to believe that, and then they become castles, right? In Age 4, the advantage of English farms provide further bonus, with their enclosures now providing a slow but steady income of gold. Really? The enclosures? Where? No, we don't really see that in the picture. But what we do see is the Berkshire Palace, one of the landmarks bringing you into the final age, which adds to an indomitable lineup of defenses by acting as a keep with increased weapon range. In this final age, the English civilization have the power to prevail on the battlefield. Guys, I don't know about what you guys think, but I believe that this English civilization is going to be much more dangerous at rushing and defending, but it's just my opinion, of course, right? Anyway, let's continue now with the Mongols, something completely different. Playing the Mongols. The Mongols are an agile civilization excelling at hit-and-run military strategies and capable of expanding armies rapidly, just like in Age of Empires 2. The Mongol civilization in Age of Empires 4 are extremely capable and hit-and-run strategies thanks to their exceptional mobility and nomadic nature originating in the great steppes of Central Asia. You witness the Mongol throughout the ages, spanning from 1000 to 1500 CE, as a disciplined civilization recognized for changing history in connecting the East to the West. In Age 4, the Mongols are known for their unique structure and are the most powerful when playing to their strength in tight groups. They speak Mongolian, the most widely spoken of the Mongolic languages, and so, playing as the Mongol civilization is a fearsome force because of their high mobility. One may not meet them in massive throngs. Even in small numbers, their army can outmaneuver enemies with ease. Their aggressive military production capabilities force the opponent to be on the defensive early. Yes, so that is going to be a civilization made for rushing, obviously. The Mongols are a nomadic civilization with the ability to move their bases, which is something that has been widely spoken so far. They can be packed and unpacked at will wherever you want, which is going to be, again, a huge advantage. If they feel that their base is at risk, they will always sacrifice a few of the buildings, pack the other ones, and unpack them somewhere else, which is going to spare them the time and resources to build them again. The Mongols are a nomadic civilization with the ability to move their base, combined with early access to cavalry units and speed granted from outposts. The Mongol reigns supreme in flanking enemies and retreating quickly before enemies have a chance to catch up. They build up their economy with unique buildings like the stone mining ovu. The Mongols' need for resources for their army can trigger a dramatic battle for resources as they pursue total domination. That is the thing where with nomadic people is that they settle in an area, then when the area is out of resources, they go away and they go next to the next area where they have resources. This is what the Mongols did in real life. This is what they are going to do in Age of Empires 4. Only two unique units here. The Khan. The Khan is a unique horse archer unit. His signal arrow ability supports and strengthens the Mongol army, making him a fearsome foe. It's like the Khan is the king, basically, of the Mongols. And then the most feared Mangudai, which, of course, every Age of Empires 2 players know about, right? The Mangudai are the star of the Mongols' fearsome military, a supreme horse archer that excels at hit and run tactics. And so, let's have a look at the Mongols throughout the ages here. At the dawn of battle in Age 1, the Mongols start off with several Unix buildings to grow their nomadic empire, despite having no access to farms or walls. No farms, no walls, by the way. If you play with the Mongols, that is going to be tough, of course. The Ovu and Ger unique buildings to the Mongols provide crucial advantages in this early age. Totally different unit, totally different civilization to be playing, obviously. H2 brings a new era for the growing Mongol civilization. They gain access to the pasture, a unique building that replaces farms. Obviously, they are going to be relying on herding, right? Just like even Mongols in modern-day Mongolia, there's a lot of herding as well, right? So that is, again, true to their own civilization for sure. The Silver Tree landmark, one of the landmarks available to advance from Age 1, gives the Mongols a special economic advantage. It acts as a market that builds trader faster and cheaper. I suppose that this is what we are seeing in the picture. Now, quick question here. This doesn't look like a building that can be packed and unpacked. So if a Mongol civilization or player decides to leave an area, is this special building going to remain? That remains to be seen, obviously. Let's have a look at H3. By H3, the Mongol civilization is thriving. The Steppe Redoubt landmark pushes their economy to new heights, acting as a gear that increases gold drop-off and funneling for more resources for a rapidly growing military force. And finally, H4. The Khaganate Palace is one of the landmarks bringing you into H4, and it establishes the Mongol civilization was a supreme army. The distinct landmark produces Mangudai horsemen or a knight, bringing victory closer for the Mongols in the last coming moments of battle. Again, very different civilization from anything that we are used to. The devs did not lie when they say that not every civilization is going to play the same, and some of them are going to be quite exotic indeed. Alright, let's have a look at the French. Now, of course, the French are going to be in Age of Empires, and here, known for their cavalry, the French are a fearsome army whose armored knights and chargers can tip the tides of battles. The French civilization in Age of Empires 4 spans from the years 840, I think that is starting with King Louis II, all the way to 1559, and is based on a medieval France that fought its way from adversity and prosperity. Overcoming invasions, plagues, and revolt, France emerged as a powerful modern nation. Playing the French civilization will take you through the age of chivalry and honorable combat to the time of Jeanne d'Arc and France's darkest hour, to the formation of a disciplined standing army capable of liberating the nation with a war of cannon fire. Obviously, that's going to be at the end, right? So how is it going to be playing the French? The French civilization's strength lies in their formidable army of knights, gunpowder siege weapons, and advantage in trade. Interesting, yes, of course, because they do have a lot of trading ports. I'm thinking of Bordeaux, La Rochelle, Le Havre, right? These were all very important for France, of course, and still are nowadays. French traders have the unique ability to bring back any resource needed, a valuable trade during a resource shortage. So normally the traders would bring gold, right? But here, if you need to bring some food, you can suppose you'll be able to ask them to bring food or wood or stone if you need to, especially in late game, right? When you definitely you always you are very desperate to get some stone to build extra fortifications, and all the stone has been mined. That is going to be a significant advantage for sure. French cavalry charges can break enemy lines and give bonus damage, useful for hit and run tactics, obviously, especially if you want to be destroying some economy areas, right, with villagers. That is going to be that is a classic strategy in Age of Empires games, by the way, not just in H4, and we'll be able to continue doing that in H4. French units have also access to several upgrades ranging from special health to defense bonuses available only for certain French units, and the French have a unique influence system where units cost less from archery ranges and stables around the keep. Okay, so if you place your buildings around the keep, they're going to be costing less. Interesting. The town center can produce unique units quicker with each age, a key advantage in their in hastening their economy. And they have 3 unique units here with the Royal Knight, obviously, right? You can see why is there only one fleur-de-lis? Interesting design. It looks a bit cartoonish, I would say. The Royal Knight is the French civilization's heavily armored knight with their fearsome charge ability. Where here there is the Arbalétier. The Arbalétier is a powerful range unit who gains a special ability called Pavise, a deployable shield for ranged defense. Okay, I didn't know that. But it looks like we cannot really see the Pavise here on those units. Whereas the cannon here, probably for late game, right? The cannon is a mobile gunpowder siege weapon unique to the French. Unlike the bombard, the cannon does not need to pack and unpack, which is going to be a huge advantage because it is going to save considerable time. It will just be there and you'll be able to shoot right away. Age 1, the French civilization is building up their economy. In this age, economic technologies are cheaper and economic drop-off buildings such as mill and gold mines cost less, a huge benefit in kickstarting their economy. The French are going to be definitely a powerhouse for sure. It seems like all of these civilizations are equally balanced so far, which is quite a remarkable feat that the devs have done. Age 2, the Royal Knight becomes available in Age 2. Oh my goodness, that is super early again, right? If the Chamber of Commerce was built in Age 1, trade cards in this age will return additional resources too. Wow, so it looks like those French traders are also going to be a key for success. The Royal Institute in H3 is one of the landmarks advancing you to H3. It houses all unique French technologies, allowing you to research them at a reduced cost. I love the architecture, by the way. It definitely looks like real medieval French architecture, unlike the English that do look like English Gothic style. Very unique indeed. Age 4. The 4th age brings several upgrade options for the French army. The College of Artillery is one of the landmark buildings, bringing you to the last age, blocking gunpowder units capable of additional damage without chemistry, which is one of the signature research that you have to research in Age of Empires 2 if you want to have gunpowder units. In Age of Empires 4, if you play as a French, you will not need them if you have this building. Exciting change for sure. And last but not least here, well, it's not really the last because we still have the HRE and the Rus, which are not available right now. They have not been revealed, probably later throughout this year. But the Abbasid Dynasty, which are going to be representing the Arabs, right? The Abbasid Dynasty is an adaptive civilization due to their ability to research unique upgrades at the House of Wisdom. These upgrades impact and alter core game elements and mechanics, providing a unique way to build your empire. In Age of Empires 4, the Abbasid Dynasty civilization spans the years 750 to 1517 and is based on the Abbasid Caliphate and the Mamluk Sultanate. As I said, guys, we're probably going to have a Saladin campaign, just like in Age 2. That wouldn't be a surprise. The empire was born in modern-day Iraq, but after the Mongol destroyed its capital of Baghdad in 1258, the seat of power moved to Cairo. You will experience the golden age of Islam playing the Abbasid dynasty. This period saw flourishing technological innovations as the medieval world raced towards the modern era. Back in those days, guys, the Arab civilization was maybe one of the most advanced in the world, as advanced as the Chinese. So it's also going to be very interesting to see how what the devs learned and how it's going to be transcribed into the game. Remember, guys, that the devs are aiming at being as historically accurate as possible, so I am sure that we're going to discover a lot of interesting facts from playing the Abbasid dynasty. The Abbasid dynasty ruled the spiritual heart of the Islamic world for nearly 800 years, surviving civil wars, the Crusades, the Mongol invasion, relentless piracy, and rebellions. Now, playing the Abbasid dynasty in Age 4, the Abbasid dynasty civilization is centered around their House of Wisdom, which provides unique upgrade opportunities and acts as the base of their Golden Age mechanic. As buildings are constructed around the House of Wisdom, the tier of their Golden Age increases, bringing with it increases to gather, research, and production rates. Unique to their civilization, the Abbasid dynasty received camel archers and camel raiders, which serve as unique anti-cavalry units, just like in Age of Empires 2. We've seen that in the latest trailers, by the way, those camel, which are very unique to the Arabic civilizations in the Age of Empires series, and definitely a fan favorite for sure. The Abbasid dynasty's unique ability to construct landmarks and advance through the ages without needing to assign active villagers enables the Abbasid dynasty to continue gathering resources, construct buildings, or perform other tasks, allowing uninterrupted growth. They have two different unique units here. Of course, camel archers here. The camel archer is an anti-cavalry archery unit that reduces damage from nearby enemy cavalry units. Their expanded attack range and higher damage than average. Horse archers allow them to pick away at enemy cavalry from a safe distance. Very nice. Very nice. So basically, they are going to be a little bit safer, and they are going to. It will be. I think there's going to be a lot of micromanagement here. I can definitely see here players playing with this civilization, harassing cavalry units and playing using the advantage of their higher range to take down those cavalry units. So they're maybe gonna have to be flanked in order to be destroyed. It's going to provide people with interesting strategies too. And the Imam. The Imam is an inspirational community leader that can be created at the Abbasid's mosque building for sure, right? This is obviously the priest for the Islamic world, and they still have that little little rod, of course, the classic Age of Empires rod. Please, make him say the whoa. That would be fantastic if he could say that. Anyway, Age 1. In Age 1, the Abbasid dynasty civilization start off with the House of Wisdom, that you can see here, offering unique upgrades to alter the gameplay, economy, military, and or trade. Unlike other civilizations which need to construct landmarks to age up, the Abbasid must complete these upgrades, which can be done in any order. Interesting. So that's, I think that we are learning. I think by now you've guessed that in order to age up, it's not just clicking a button like in the old Age of Empires game. In order to be aging up, you are going to have to build those buildings. In Age of Empires 4, when you play as the Abbasid dynasty, that building is already here. It's always going to be here. So to advance, to change age, the unique characteristics of the Abbasid dynasty here is to complete all the upgrades. So definitely different for sure. Age 2. While the Abbasid dynasty do not see new landmark buildings constructed at the start of their second age, they instead gain access to camel archer, unique anti-cavalry ranged units, which is going to be a good counter to the French knights, which also come in Age 2. Age 3. Once again, the Abbasid dynasty forego new landmark in their third age, this time gaining the camel raider, another unique anti-cavalry units. And in Age 4, upon reaching the fourth age, the Abbasid dynasty will have researched 3 of the 4 available wings. During this age, players can complete their final wing upgrade, reaching what might be seen as a form of 5th age. And unfortunately, oh yeah, these are the different houses, by the way. The House of Wisdom, so a little bit more here about the House of Wisdom here, is one of the key defining features of the Abbasid dynasty. This unique civilization-specific structure provides access to many unique civilization upgrades and mechanics. In addition, players can further upgrade their House of Wisdom by researching and completing 4 different wings of knowledge. They can be completed in any order, providing access to additional upgrades, strengthening the House of Wisdom and aging of the civilization. We're going to have economic wing for trade wing, military wing, culture wing. These, of course, are quite self-explanatory for sure. There we have it, guys. All the details that we get to know about Age of Empires 4. And we still need to know more about the Holy Roman Empire, which are going to obviously be the Germans, and the Ruth, which are going to be the Vikings. I am betting, if I am wrong, I'm going to eat a sock, guys, but I am sure that we'll get to start as the Vikings, and then they will be evolving as modern-day Eastern Europeans, just like in real life. But I guess that time will tell, right? So that's it. Again, October 20th cannot come soon enough. I cannot wait to be checking it out. It is already available for pre-ordering if you cannot wait, and you can also get Dawn of the Dukes, which is a new expansion for Age of Empires 2, which will focus on the Poles and the Czech too. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know that this was a long one, but well, it was. I think that it's important to take the time to really discover all of those civilizations and be more familiar with what we are going to get when this game gets released. I'll see you guys later for more content on the channel. Thank you so much again for watching. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.